My closing ratio after 5 business days past the initial conversation would be around 12 to 13%. Boo, right? Terrible. Not good. You're not paying your bills with a 12% closing ratio, okay? So, this is why it's so important that you have a tight follow up process, that you get with the customer within 48 hours of that initial conversation, that initial ask. Now, let's go ahead and cover, how do I do this? How do you do this? How do you set up that appointment? That's what I'm about to cover with you. So, here we go. Hey, welcome to the Insurance Buzz. I am your host, Michael Weaver, and I'm flying solo today. And what we're talking about is the follow up process that generates a 76% closing rate. 76%. 3 out of every 4 people you talk to, you're going to close. How does that sound? So, before we get into this magical little process, all right? It's not magical. Look, you know me. I'm not up here to tell you secret sauces, silver bullets. I don't believe in that, all right? You have processes that just simply work, and that's what we're talking about on the buzz today. So my question for you is right now is, what does your current follow-up process look like? And the follow-up I'm talking about, to clarify what we're going to be discussing today, is the follow-up process and strategy that you have after you've talked to a customer, you've presented the quotes, you've asked for the sell, and you just can't get to that yes or no. They give you an objection. They need to think about it. They need to talk to their spouse. You just cannot get to the yes or the no. Ideally, if you're anything like me, we're trying to get to a yes or no on that initial conversation. But in my experience, 70% of prospects are going to require a follow up. When you are in sales, money is in the follow up, and you have to have a tight process that converts your prospects into paying customers, which is exactly what we're talking about today. So, that was the clarification. The process is, after you've already talked to them, you've presented the price, and you just can't get to that yes or no, and there has to be a follow up because you can't overcome the objection. That's what we're talking about today. Now, what is that process I'm talking about? It's really, really easy. So, you with me here? 48 hours. 48-hour rule is what I call this. This is the 48-hour rule follow up process, meaning that no more than 48 hours after that initial conversation where you present the quotes, you present the price, you ask for the sell, the follow up has to be done within 2 business days, within 48 hours. And here's the goal: try to make it within 1 business day, within 24 hours of that initial ask. Because here's the thing: the sooner that you can follow up and get that prospect back on the phone, the more likely you are to close the business. All right, so I'll give you some data here. So my personal data and my agency's data, and even clients that I've worked with at Weaver Sales Academy, I've tracked their data on this process. And all the numbers pretty much align. The averages will vary by little, all right? They'll vary, all right? But ultimately, if you can get a prospect back on the phone within 48 hours, you have a 76% chance. You're going to close 76% of these customers within that 48-hour time frame. Now, from the day 3 to day 5 out, my closing ratio dropped to about 32%. 32%, cut in half from the 48-hour rule. Anything past 5 days, I don't even want to share this with you. I hate talking about this. All right, you're going to boo me. All right, you should be booing me. My closing ratio after 5 business days past the initial conversation would be around 12 to 13%. Boo, right? Terrible. Not good. You're not paying your bills with a 12% closing ratio, okay? So, this is why it's so important that you have a tight follow up process, that you get with the customer within 48 hours of that initial conversation, that initial ask. Now, let's go ahead and cover, how do I do this? How do you do this? How do you set up that appointment? That's what I'm about to cover with you. So, here we go. You have the conversation, you present the quote, you're trying to get to that yes or no, and you just can't get to it. All right, they got to think about it. They got to talk to their spouse. Whatever their objection is, you just can't overcome that objection hurdle and get payment information or get a no. All right, we're going for a yes or no. They fall into that category of the 70% that require a follow up. So, what I'm going to say, exactly what I'm going to say here is, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, I'm with you. I get that you need to think about it. So, let me ask you, when would be the best time tomorrow to put a follow up on the calendar to decide if you've decided yes or no. Okay. When would be the best time tomorrow to put on the calendar to reconnect and have a conversation, whether you've decided, yes, this makes total sense, you're going to get started, let's make it happen, or hey, no, not right now, just doesn't make sense, I'm not making the switch. What time works best for you? So I'm already going to put that in their ear, because here's the other thing. When we decide on a time tomorrow, I'm then going to make sure I confirm, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Customer, just want to confirm that tomorrow when we connect at noon, that you'll have a yes or a no for me. So I'm asking for that upfront commitment when I set that follow-up call. I'm already setting the agenda. Tomorrow's follow-up is for a yes or a no. All right, now let's pretend. Let's pretend like they said, tomorrow's not going to work for me. Well, hey, no worries. How about the next day? What's the best time the next day? So if I'm calling on a Monday, hey, no worries. What time Wednesday works best for you to put on the calendar? To just reconnect and decide whether yes, you're going to make the switch, or no, not right now. When works best for that? Now, here's the second strategy I'll teach you within this process is when you get a time on the calendar, I always like to get a second time, giving me permission to call them twice, because life happens, things happen. You're busy, I'm busy. So let's pretend we set that call for noon central. Hey, Mr. or Mrs. Customer, I understand that things come up. So if for some reason something comes up and you can't make that call at noon, when is the second best time to reach you on that day? When is the second best time to reach you that day? So I'm getting permission to call them twice in a single day. And again, I'm making sure that I'm setting the agenda for, hey, when I give you a call tomorrow at noon, I'm going to be ready to answer any questions you have, and ultimately just figure out if you've decided, yes, it makes total sense, you're going to become part of our family, or no, not right now, just doesn't make sense. So can we agree, Mr. or Mrs. Customer, that tomorrow when we connect at noon that you'll have a yes or a no for me? All right, so I'm going to ask them confirmation. Can we agree that tomorrow when we reconnect that you will either have a yes or a no for me? It's that easy. It's that simple. Again, 48 hours max. That's it. No more than 48 hours. If you want to give yourself the best chance at helping the customer and turning them in from a prospect to a paying customer, you have to make sure that follow-up is within 48 hours. So I would love to know what you thought about today's episode. If you're going to implement, or when you do, actually take the if out. When you implement this, I want you to share your success with me, because you will have success. So make sure when you implement this tomorrow, you start setting follow-ups and you close the business, you text me, 816-727-7610. Be like, Michael, the 48-hour follow-up process at work, baby. I just closed the deal. All right. So that's what I want to hear. I love celebrating successes with you. And if you have any questions for me, shoot me a text too. It is me answering that. All right. This isn't an AI bot. This is not a computer. Like, this is me. This is me and Courtney answering your questions. All right. So other than that, as always, time is by far the most important asset that we have. Time and attention. I appreciate you spending time with me today on The Buzz. Go out and make it great.